Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your favorite rapper, Billy or B Sizzle, whichever you prefer. And today we're reacting to I attempted my first Nuzlocke by JaidenAnimations. Now, if you guys all don't already know, I love JaidenAnimations. Like, she was one of the first YouTubers I ever subscribed to, aside from Eli Socrae. Actually, I really like her videos, and she is really funny in my opinion. And I'm sure you saw all my other videos reacting to her, so go ahead and check those out. And I will see if you guys can actually decide what reactions you guys would like to see next. I haven't been getting a lot of comments recently, but I do hope that I can actually get more comments from you guys because I haven't really been getting too many comments from anyone, really. I just decide what I want to react to by myself, and I don't really get anything from y'all. So please do leave some interactions on the videos so that I know which ones you guys want to see. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap post notification bell so that you get notified whenever I make new videos. And without the video the link of this video will be in the description. Make sure to go subscribe to JaidenAnimations. Without further ado, let's begin.
Within the Pokemon community, there's a set of self-imposed rules you can add to the games to make them more challenging, called a Pokemon Nuzlocke. You can only catch the first Pokemon you run into per route. If a Pokemon faints, it dies, and you can't use it anymore. And you have to nickname your Pokemon to get more attached to them.
Mayo.
That means if you aren't careful, you can technically
Texas
lose
Smash.
a Pokemon game
Ooh.
under those conditions. I've wanted to do a Nuzlocke for the longest time. I've started a couple in the past, but never actually got to finish any because busy. But today's the day that all changes. I decided to make a video on my first full attempt at a Pokemon Ruby Nuzlocke. Let's see how it went. After breaking free from the back of the moving truck my mom stuffed me in and introducing myself to the neighbor Brendan, the kid that I always thought was a monkey said that he heard screaming up ahead. Professor Birch is getting
Jaiden said that she always thought that kid was a monkey. That kid was always gonna stop me before I got my first Pokemon. Like, if I haven't talked to my mom or the professor's assistant, I think, yet, then then they wouldn't really let me then he wouldn't really let me pass until I actually talked to the professor and either Brendan or May. I should be playing as a guy and my partner should be May, but I sometimes played as May and then my rival would be Brendan. But it's always just switch and switch for me. I never really play as my gender in some Pokemon games. I'm sure you saw that in my Pokemon battle with Calum, but there are times where I will play as my gender, and there are other times where I'll play as a girl just for fun, just to see what kind of team a female Pokemon player would have, you know? Not really that swinging another way, but just to see what a girl Pokemon player would have for a team.
mauled by a level 2 Poochyena, so I let his Torchic out, and she scratches the crap out of it. He gifts me Torchic for rescuing him, and I name her Teriyaki, my first Pokemon. Walking up the route more, I run into Brendan, who challenges me to a battle, where Teriyaki proceeds to also scratch the crap out of his Mudkip. Good job, Teriyaki. You're 2 for 2. Doing great. Professor Birch
That's an
gives
adorable
me 5
Pokemon.
Pokeballs, and the Nuzlocke has officially started. I
Torchic is adorable. She draws him really well. Or draws her very well.
But I can work with this. You know,
Look at that Torchic.
I think we're gonna have a really awesome adventure.
Ha!
So Teriyaki one-shotted Zigzagoon with a critical hit scratch.
Dang.
But whatever. Contain your murder a little bit, alright, guy? Route
That's
1
a
of 2
girl.
is right around the corner, and that's where I was able to catch Corn the Seedot. Look at us, couple of friends ready to take on the Hoenn region together.
I'm watching
After
you.
watching the weird kid Wally struggle to catch his first Pokemon, I continued on to Route 104 and found a little Talo in the grass. Aggressive and screamed when hungry? Oh yeah, I know your name. In Petalburg Forest, a Team Magma grunt jumps some random professors.
Ari is actually Jaiden's pet bird, in case you guys didn't know.
So Ari and Teriyaki peck his eyes out. Oh, hello, Shroomish. I'm gonna name you Onion. I make it to Rustboro, and
Just
while
randomly
getting ready to take
walking
on
by.
Roxanne's gym, Teriyaki kills another Zigzagoon I was about to catch. What's your problem with Zigzagoons, dude? But it turned out alright, because she also ended up evolving. Onion was able to destroy Roxanne with ease, and we got our first gym badge. Exiting the gym, we catch a glance that Team Magma is up to no good again. Something about the scorching earth or something. And this whole...
In case you guys don't know that reference right there, there's a part of the game where Team Magma will revive Groudon, and then Groudon will make the sun rage out until it's caught. And so I played Pokemon Omega Ruby several times, which is just basically the 3D remake with the Mega Evolution. That's basically what Pokemon Omega Ruby is. It's just the Generation 6 remake with Mega Evolution. So then when you catch Groudon, a green laser will fire at the sun, make it go back to its original state. And that's basically what the plot is of the game.
Old man exclaims that they stole his Pico. Here's your dog. So you're coming with me. The man thanks me by turning me into his errand boy, and I arrive in Dewford to give a letter to Stephen. Alright, what do we got? Ugh. Okay, chomps. After finding Stephen...
I actually have found Stephen after... I actually have to find Stephen after challenging the gym, because there's like several people guarding the front of the cave, and then I don't get to talk to Stephen until after I beat the gym. And for some reason, Brawley likes to exercise in the dark. I don't know what's up with that, but it's a pretty good game, guys. I recommend it. I really recommend it, bruh. I recommend it. I really recommend it. But I don't really know why he likes to exercise in the dark, but that's just him, I guess. Also, does anyone know what generations the move Sting Wheel is from? I always thought it was from Generation 5, but I'm not really sure, because Skarmory was able to learn it too, and Skarmory was introduced in Generation 2. So I don't really know if I'm correct or not, but if you guys can go ahead and tell me, that would be great. I didn't get my start in Generation 3. I got my start in Generation 6. But I played Omega Ruby, so it was technically Generation 3 and Generation 6 at the exact same time.
And it was time to take on Brawley, the next gym leader. Ari's a stone-cold killer and easily earned MVP in that fight. Things were going well. 2 badges in, and the team is looking good. On my way to the next city, I caught a tentacle on the beach. Squidward. And after beating Team Magma and Brendan again in Slateport, it was time again to get ready for the gym battle with Watson. But as I was fighting some trainers, Chomps the Mawile got electrocuted a bit too hard and was killed.
A one-shot, too.
Jaiden, let's battle. I want to show you how strong I am.
That's harsh.
Okay. Ari, this is an electric gym. You're not allowed to fight in here, so you can just wait outside.
Like, I understand why she left Ari out of it, because electric-type moves are super effective on flying-type Pokemon. And that's because whenever a lightning strike hits a bird, its wings are going to be paralyzed and it won't be able to fly. So I understand why she did this. He doesn't.
While battling the gym trainers, Onion evolved into Breloom, and together with Teriyaki, they were able to get another victory. Now we were riding high. 3 gym badges in and no main casualties. With our massive confidence, we decided to take on the Windstreet family's challenge of beating all their family members. I had Squidward out front to get him some experience, but we ran into some troubles with Grandma. Oh god, it's gonna do a high jump kick. We can take him.
I don't remember Meta-type knowing high jump kick in my Omega Ruby playthrough, but it did know Meditate, and that was a move I was kind of scared of, because it raises the special attack stat, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to survive that or not, but I was able to get past the grandmother every time. I was able to get past the mother, the father, the daughter, and the grandmother. The son was a mystery to me, but players have theorized that his name is Vito or Victor, but I'm not really sure if if Victor is the father's name or if it's the son's name. I could be completely wrong.
Come out, but I need a clean switch first.
Ha. Ha.
So
Dang.
I had to sacrifice Hushchild the Whismer, but honestly that was the safest move to ensure no one else died. Bye, Hushchild. You might be missed.
Why are they all
We were
drawn
heading
like
to Fall
that?
Arbor, fighting some trainers. Ari evolved. Oh, look at my big bird. Oh, look at you. Yeah. We were almost to town, but we had to get through the sooty grass on 113.
Spinda.
Oh, jeez. Alright, Barf, get in there with the rest of them.
Spinda sucks, actually. I haven't really used Spinda before in a playthrough. I haven't even actually done a Nuzlocke. I think I should do a Nuzlocke at some point. I haven't been able to attempt a Nuzlocke because I don't really know what kind of inconveniences I might run into. And also, it's also because I'm just really busy most of the time.
I walked into Meteor Falls to see Team Aqua and Team Magma arguing about water and rocks. Can I go? So get over here. They kept complaining and I had to go up the volcano they were blocking to fight Maxie, the Team Magma leader. That was a hard fight. Onion and Teriyaki were able to take out his Mighty Anna and Camerupt, but his Golbat hit hard. I ended up having to switch in Ari and double team up to win the battle. Not the most honorable of strategies, but it worked and we're moving on. On the way down the volcano, I ran into a match shop. Oh, hello there, Chad. What? You're a female? Did I stutter? We arrived in Storage Town and started getting through Flannery's gym.
Chad, what? You're a female? Did I stutter? So she just nicknamed her female Pokemon after a freaking guy. That's funny.
During that time, Squidward was almost killed by a Fury swiping Kecleon. Fury swipes. Oh my gosh, that does a lot of damage.
Ooh.
But when it came time to battle, he pulled his weight and more. Honestly, with the team, there wasn't much I could have done to Flannery's fire Pokemon, but Squidward came in clutch by learning Bubble Beam, and it was all over for her. Badge 4, under our belt. Brendan met up with us outside the gym to give us goggles so we could walk in the sandstorm.
I always got the goggles from someone else, but I don't remember. I think it was Professor Cosmo. I don't remember. I don't know if it was Brendan or Professor Cosmo that I get the sandstorm goggles from. But I do know that after that you can take on Norman. But that's Omega Ruby. That's just Omega Ruby.
I found a claw fossil, and Anorith was born. I didn't know what to name it, so my friend named him Gary. Now it was time for the 5th gym. After some training, Chad evolved into Machoke, and the team was leveled up. I started the battle with Ari, and after realizing I was in trouble... Oh yeah, slacking is powerful when it doesn't know, when it's not looking around. I managed to squeak by with more double teams. Ari was barely able to take out the first slacking, so when the second, stronger one came out, I knew I had to use a different strategy. I brought out Onion to leech seed it and try and get more chip damage in, which worked, but he was also killed by Slacking's Facade, which I thought he could take. Facade is a move that can do more damage if the Pokemon has a status condition. So if its energy is being leached on, then it can actually do more damage. And then it has the potential to do more damage as well as burn, paralyzed, and confused, and frozen. But frozen Pokemon don't move, so... Chad was able to finish off the rest of the fight, but that was the first death that actually hurt. I'm not crying. Someone's just chopping onions in here. But with every down, there's an up, and Corn stepped up and was ready to fill Onion's spot.
Nuzleaf is alright. Nuzleaf can learn Feint Attack, and that move doesn't miss. And it also knows Razor Leaf, which it can also hit almost every time. But its speed stat isn't really that good, to be honest. But Nuzleaf is basically the mascot of Nuzlocke. I want to do a Pokemon Omega Ruby Nuzlocke, but I'm not really sure what kind of inconveniences I'm going to run into, so I've put it off for a while.
While passing through Mauville again, Watson asked us to help him turn off the city's generator, and while down there...
That doesn't happen until after the main game that doesn't happen until after you defeat the 8th gym. You can either choose to you can either choose to go to the Pokemon League and challenge them, or you can choose to go to New Marble and turn off and check out to see if there's any suspicious activity. I always thought that there would be like some sort of Team Magma grunt being down there to like mess with stuff and everything. And New Marble is also the place where the freaking Master Ball is. I don't really have any kind of way to get the Master Ball unless I go find it after I defeat Wallace. And Wallace is the 8th gym leader in some of the games. Not in all of them. Emerald is the only one where he's a champion, and the gym leader in Pokemon Emerald is Juan.
From there I found a Magnemite. Do you want to come with? Okay.
Huh?
We kept on our way, catching Spurky the Electrike, and while fighting some trainers, Corn survived 2 very close calls. He took a Swords Dance boosted Fury Cutter by Ninjask, and a misclick from me, which resulted in him tanking a wing attack from a Tailo. No! Corn, no!
Oh.
Dude, Corn, I'm so sorry. You're such a trooper. Good news is Squidward evolved while training, so that's neat.
Nice reference, Jaden. I saw that. The handsome Squidward thing. Want to go ahead and also say that since Nuzleaf is half grass type, then it's obvious that flying type moves are going to do quite a bit. And just because Nuzleaf is half dark type, that does make him vulnerable to fighting moves. So I would be really careful if you plan on taking on a Nuzleaf. But also it's some of its stats suck as well, but it's the mascot of Nuzlocke, and Nuzlocke simply wouldn't be a thing without it.
We arrived in Fortree City, and this was a gym I was really nervous about. Not only did we not have a good team to take on a flying-type gym, but Winona's Altaria is notorious for sweeping teams if she sets up too many Dragon Dances.
Oh yeah, and it has Dragon Breath.
To train up the team, and the worst happened. Corn was killed by Pin Missile from a Zigzagoon. Wait, no. Stop, Corn!
I didn't know Zigzagoon could know Pin Missile, but she did catch it after trying to catch a Zigzagoon for a while. But Zigzagoon is a really sucky Pokemon in my opinion, so having one isn't really that exciting in my opinion, but you know, to each their own.
Corn! You monster! How could you do this? Is this why you kept trying to kill all the Zigzagoons?
She tried to warn you.
Corn sacrificed himself because he knew we were at too much of a disadvantage going into Winona's gym, and by opening up a space, we could get the type advantage we needed to stand a chance. With a heavy heart, I brought Zip Zap Zop the Magnemite to the team, and realized how much more grinding I was gonna have to do.
Yep.
I had to fight so many Merrills to get Zip Zap Zop on par with the rest of the team. You want to know how many? The move Thunderbolt can be used 15 times before it runs out, and I had to go back to the Pokemon Center almost 6 separate times to refill it, meaning Zip Zap Zop killed more than 80 Merrill that were living in that lake. Winona Lead was swell.
Yeah. I honestly didn't know that Magnemite can learn Thunderbolt when you catch it. I just thought it learned Electro Ball when it evolves into Magnezone, but I guess not. I guess it can learn Thunderbolt in other generations. Like Generation 3 can learn Thunderbolt right off the bat, I guess. I'm not sure. Because you can get the move Thunderbolt after you beat Watson or Wallace by helping out Watson with the new Marble thing in Omega Ruby. That's how my playthroughs always went.
Swallow, which Zip Zap Zop was able to take out. But she immediately brought out Altaria, which made me very scared because I know she's got Earthquake on that thing.
Head whips of death, scary cloud part, and sharp talons. That's actually really funny. She labeled all the stuff. Especially that part at the bottom there, which I'm not gonna say. Just pointing it out, but you know. Altaria is part dragon, so that does make it harder to defeat. So I think it's only effective against Fairy, Dragon, and Rock. I think those are its only weaknesses.
I didn't have a clean switch, and I knew no one on the team could take 2 hits from this cloud bird, so I ultimately decided that I'd have to have Zip Zap Zop paralyze it in exchange for his death. Goodbye, Zip Zap Zop. You weren't here for long, but your efforts will not be in vain. Oh my god!
Dang!
Somehow Zip Zap Zop lived the earthquake on 2 HP like a mad lad. Korn must have been looking down on us for that one, because there was definitely a 90% chance Zip Zap Zop was supposed to die there.
An absolute soldier, guys. An absolute soldier.
That string of luck, I was able to switch Ari in for Zip Zap Zop to predict another earthquake, and started chipping away at the Altaria, which was not gonna be easy. She was already starting to stack up those Dragon Dances, which make her moves even more powerful.
Dragon Dance boosts the special attack and special defense of any kind of Pokemon, as long as it's a Dragon type or a Flying type. But Dragon Dance is definitely a move to not mess with.
And I was legitimately sweating. But with what little luck we had left, Winona got greedy and tried to get in that last Dragon Dance, and that's when Ari was able to swoop in and snipe that kill. If that Altaria would have decided to attack at any point, she would have one-shotted anyone and everyone on my team.
That's
Thank you, Korn.
True.
You shined your photosynthesis onto us. From there, I was able to heal up Zip Zap Zop and sweep the rest of her team.
Pelipper and
The 6th gym
Skarmory
badge was ours. Outside the Safari Zone, I found a Duskull I was able to catch. I tried to have Gary on the team since resurrecting him from the dirt, but he honestly has like no moves that do damage, so I decided to replace him with Sin. We arrived in Lily Cove and I tried fishing on the beach for a Pokemon.
Why is Ari drawn
Chad
like that?
Punched the Whalmer I reeled up too hard and killed it. We stormed Team Magma's base, and while trying to get the Master Ball they've got on the ground, an Electrode exploded and almost killed Chad, which was uncalled for. After
like,
beating
what the
their
heck,
admin,
bro?
they escaped into a submarine, and I went on to fight the next gym. Tate and Liza were the first double battle gym leaders, and I didn't realize until too late that I was just a tad underleveled for them.
Wait a minute. I'm not sure if the Master Ball is found in... I'm dumb. Okay, the Master Ball is actually found in Team Magma's base. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I just honestly forgot. It's been a while since I played, obviously.
They don't have any more than 2 Pokemon, so I think we should be okay. 40 32!
They're higher in this game?
Uh-oh. Sin and Zip Zap Zop made a good duo, being able to confuse and paralyze them, but
Well, electric doesn't do anything to rock types or psychic types, but steel does crush rock, and ghosts do a number on psychic type Pokemon, so they're a perfect duo. And but one of those Pokemon has a fire type move, that's trouble.
Solrock managed to get off a Sunny Day powered flamethrower in Zip Zap Zop's face, which totally killed him.
Okay, that's cap, because I really don't think that Solrock can learn Flamethrower. I think that they cheated. Can Solrock learn Flamethrower in the later generations? I don't think so. But if it's able to learn Flamethrower in Generation 3, then that's a really powerful AF generation. Because I tried to teach Flamethrower to, like, let's just say Onyx in Pokemon X, but it couldn't learn it. So why can't Onyx learn Flamethrower? That's odd. And if it can learn Flamethrower in Gen 3, then wow. But I don't think that it can learn I don't think Solrock can learn Flamethrower. I just don't believe in that. I've seen Pokemon learn powerful moves, like Meowstic learning Thunderbolt and Shadow Ball and Solar and Signal Beam, but never in my life would I would think that Solrock can learn Flamethrower. There's absolutely no way that's possible.
That really sucked. He put in so much work for the team and really carried us this far. The rest of this fight's for you, Zip Zap Zop. Squidward came out, and together with Sin, were able to finish off the duo, getting us up.
Poison can't do anything to... Poison type Pokemon can't do anything to Psychic or Rock type Pokemon, but Water can. Water destroys Rock types. And Ghost types still do really well against Psychic types. But Poison type Pokemon is where Psychic type Pokemon have the advantage.
It's our 7th gym badge. Alright, Spurky, you're up.
How? If you were able to get Electrike to a higher level before putting him in the PC, then you could definitely work with what kind of luck you have there. I definitely did in my previous playthroughs.
I think I single-handedly wiped out the entire water Pokemon population between Zip Zap Zop and Spurky. I went to Shoal Cave and caught Blubby the Spheal, and went out to take on Maxie one last time. For some reason, I didn't learn my lesson when being underleveled for Tate and Liza, because I was even more underleveled for Maxie. Mightyena. It doesn't go down? This fight was rough. Chad was able to take out his Mightyena, but I resorted to Squidward when his Crobat came out, and luck wasn't on my side here, because Squidward was killed by a high roll wing attack. The way Pokemon works is there's a small range of damage an attack can do. It's not actually the same all the time, and it's kinda based on chance. So even though it looked like Squidward could have lived 2 wing attacks, Maxie was able to get a low roll on the first one, and a high roll on the second, which was the death of Squidward. But it wasn't time to give up. We had to persevere. For Squidward. Ari came in and took out the Crobat, and lived on 1 HP when hit by Camerupt's Rock Slide. It was a tough battle.
Rock Slide is a powerful move, and I'm surprised that Ari was able to survive it as well. I'm surprised about that.
But we squeaked by. Barely. After that fight, I needed to take a step back and seriously grind up the team again. If we were just a bit more underleveled, we would have been murdered. Blubby joined the team and we got to work, eventually arriving in Sutopolis. Steven and the Sutopolis gym leader Wallace were there saying Groudon was in the cave because someone used the wrong orb and pissed him off.
Actually, what the red orb does is that it powers up Groudon and makes it go into its primal form. But primal evolution doesn't exist in Generation 3, so I'm guessing Maxie used the blue orb instead of the red orb.
So I went in there, walked up to Groudon, and Master Balled him immediately. There's no way I'm fighting Groudon. Now get in the box. While fighting Wallace, Spurky was able to take out his Love Disc and Celio. Sin beat his Whiscash, and Chad finished off the Milotic. The team was perfect. And after a...
Honestly, Blaziken doesn't really do well against water-type Pokemon, but you can definitely have an advantage if you have either a grass or electric type. And since Melodic is part ice, then taking care of that with a fighting type Pokemon shouldn't be too much of a problem.
After obtaining our final gym badge, I knew we were ready for the Elite Four. We got through Victory Road. Wally tried to fight us for the last time, but he just needs to stop. We exited.
He has a Gardevoir in Gen 3. In Gen 6, he has a Gallade. What generation did Gallade start existing? Generation 4, I think? I don't know. If you guys know, let me know. I'm not sure when Gallade started existing, but in Omega Ruby, Wally has a Gallade. Yeah, he has a Gallade.
Exited the cave, and there it was. The final challenge. Here we go. Sydney was up first, and honestly, he wasn't a challenge at all. Chad and Teriyaki were able to take care of his team with ease. Phoebe wasn't difficult either, with Sin and Blubby being MVPs. Glacio was a bit tougher. Teriyaki was able to take out her Glalie, and Spurky could handle her Celios, but her Walrein was the big problem. Walreins are thick, can tank a lot of hits, and can do a lot of damage. I would know, because I have one. I brought out Chad and she was able to get in a good amount of damage, but she was ultimately killed by Blizzard. Sin came out to try and confuse it, but it broke through the confusion and landed a Sheer Cold. Sheer Cold is a one-hit KO move. It has a 30% chance of hitting the target and will fail if the target Pokemon's level is higher than the user's. But even under...
I only learned that recently, actually. I learned it like a few years ago, but I had no idea that Sheer Cold had a 30% chance and would fail, because I tried using like a Guillotine, for example. I tried to use Guillotine on a Pokemon in like a couple of games, but then it would be like, but it failed, and I'm like, how could Guillotine fail? It's a one-hit knockout move. But I guess it's like the same situation for Sheer Cold, because Guillotine is also a one-hit knockout move.
Under all those conditions, it hit, and Sin was killed. Two great team members, down and out. Chad was with us for so long and pulled so much weight, and Sin got us through some really tough battles. Even with those losses, we were able to finish Glacia off and move on to the final Elite Four member, Drake. Drake's got a tough team, but we've got a Blubby, and she wanted revenge for her fallen comrades. She ice-beamed every single one of Drake's Pokemon. Just a straight-up massacre. And with that, it was on to the last battle. Steven Stone.
He's really easy as long as you have any kind of Pokemon that can do damage to Metagross. And in Omega Ruby, he Mega Evolves Metagross. But I'm always able to Mega Evolve Blaziken and take care of it with ease. So if I ever need to have a Pokemon that can take care of Mega Metagross, it would definitely be either Mega Latios or Mega Blaziken. And by the way, you can get a Latios in the middle of your journey right before Gym 6.
I was legitimately nervous. I led with Spurky to take out his Skarmory as quick as possible, and Blubby was able to take out his Claydol and Aggron, but then came his Metagross. This might be the end. Metagross is Steven's strongest Pokemon, so I needed to hinder it as much as I could before it started doing serious damage. I knew his Metagross had Earthquake, which would definitely take out most of my team, so I had to have Spurky Kamikaze to get a paralysis off. Blubby came out again, and after a lot of hard work, finally beat the Metagross by spamming Surf. Teriyaki was able to finish his Cradily, and his final Pokemon was Armaldo.
Cradily was always trouble for me, and I was like, oh my god, what is this thing weak to? Fire? No, it's not. It's weak to freaking grass. And I'm like, what? It might be half weak to water because it's also because it's like, I think it's like half grass, I don't know, but it's weak to its own type, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure if it's a rock ground, if it's like a steel type or something, but I'm gonna need to look. I know Armaldo is definitely not a steel type, it's a ground type.
Gary's final revenge for getting booted from the team. I brought out Blobby because Teriyaki was pretty weakened, and after realizing she gets two-shotted by him, I knew she was gonna have to die. So with a heavy heart, Blubby pulled off her last Surf, getting Armaldo in the red, and was killed. Teriyaki, the Pokemon who's been with us from the start, who'd seen her friends die in front of her, the OG, refused to let any more murder happen. Onion, Corn, Zip Zap Zop, Squidward, Chad, Sin, Spurky, Blubby, their zeros and ones won't go down in vain. One good kick to the head, and we did it. We completed the Pokemon Ruby Nuzlocke. Teriyaki and Ari were the only survivors, but the whole team put in a lot of work to get us to number 1. A cheers to the true Mad Lads.
Excellent. Like, I would expect her very first 2 Pokemon being the last ones to survive, and I'm glad that they did, because if any kind of craziness would happen between Cradily and Metagross, then it would definitely be a problem, because Metagross knows Earthquake, which is super effective against Blaziken, and Cradily knowing Rock Tomb, that's a problem for Ari. But I'm glad that she was able to finish the playthrough in the end. But anyways, guys, that will do it for this reaction. In case you guys don't know, I'm recording this the Thursday night before this is being posted. And since my paycheck schedule got changed, I'm recording my reactions in a week in advance from now on. If you guys would like to see more reactions, let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and tap post notifications. Don't forget to subscribe to JaidenAnimations, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.